Hello, it's time for coffee talk today. I have a very simple concept that I wish to convey today, and that is just one step. Just one step. You know, a lot of times when we undertake a project in our lives, it may be a new job, it may be a new ministry, it may be becoming a mother. It may be starting a family. It may be, it can be so many things. And a lot of times we get so bogged down with the big picture. Now, don't get me wrong. It's great to have dreams. It is so important to have goals and big goals, wildly important goals, right? But the problem is a lot of times when we have a big goal or a big dream in mind, or God has placed a calling on our life, and it can seem so huge that it grows beyond us. So instead of it being a blessing, it becomes a source of overwhelm. Here's the key. No project, no goal, no dream, no aspiration in life can be done in a single day. It cannot be accomplished in a single day. And the fact is, even if it could be accomplished in a single day, the problem with that is you would skip so much learning, so much personal growth, so many good moments that you can celebrate making progress. I know in times past in my life, I have, for instance, case in point, I have wanted to publish a book since I was 10 years old. Since 10 years old. In fact, I wrote my first book when I was 11 years old. It was 56 pages typed. That was a big deal for an 11-year-old. That was huge. And I've always wanted to publish a book. But it was not until about 2016 that I went, you know what? I'm going to take out that big plastic tub that I had been collecting all these little snippets of paper and all of these ideas of the things that I wanted to write about. I mean, I'd be in a coffee house and I'd grab a napkin and be like, oh, inspiration. I'm writing. And all of these little slips of paper, all of these ideas, all of these thoughts, all of these things that really mattered to me, my passions would wind up in this big plastic tote. And finally in 2016, I thought, no, I'm not shoving this back in the closet today. I'm not putting it away again. And I began to dig out those pieces and reread all of that. And I will tell you, when all of those pieces of paper filled the living room floor, mind you, I had an infant son at this time. He was about 2 months old. But I filled our living room rug with all of these pieces of my dream. All these pieces of this life goal I had since I was 10 or 11. And I looked at it and it was overwhelming. And I just went, oh. You know, all the times that I had added to that bin had just made a mountain out of this goal for me. And I was so overwhelmed until I began to look at it and go, okay, what goes with this particular theme? Let me find all of the little note cards and the napkins and the slips of torn paper that go with this particular theme. And I began to pull, and I'd make a pile here, and then I'd make a little pile over here. And I'll tell you, what is so funny is when my husband came home that day, at first there was a bit of shock on his face, and he looked at all of these little piles of paper. And I had to explain to him what I was doing, and I told him, I said, I still feel so overwhelmed. I want so bad to write this book. I want to write several books. I've got it in me. I've got the thoughts. I've got the passion. I've got the desire. But oh my goodness, it's in these crazy piles. And he said, I'll never forget this. He said, yeah, it's in piles instead of all these little individual pieces that it was. I said, well, yeah, but it's in piles. He goes, I know. But the piles are a step. How about we go get a steak dinner tonight? Let's celebrate the piles. And I was so tired. I didn't feel like making dinner. It was a light bulb going off for me when my husband said, great, let's celebrate the piles. Let's celebrate the one little tiny step that you were able to push yourself to do today. Is the book written? No. Do you have a chapter written? No. Do you have a paragraph? No. All of these random thoughts were in little piles, but celebrate the piles. And I realized a lot of times our dreams and our goals or our callings can seem so huge and so far beyond us that we don't have enough faith for the big picture. We don't have enough faith for the big ask, for the big dream or the big goal or the big calling that we feel like God has placed in our hearts. I know I'm not the only one who has looked at something and said, oh my goodness, that's really where I'm supposed to be directing my efforts. This is what I'm supposed to be doing, but it's just so big, I can't get there. Here's the deal. Stop trying to get to the end goal today. Break it down into tiny, doable steps. Break it down in tasks. Because what that does is instead of you needing the faith for the big goal or faith and strength enough for the entire summit that you're trying to climb, no, you only have to focus on enough faith and strength to take one step at a time. That is life-changing. That is life-changing. When you realize all I need today, I do not need the faith and strength for the end goal of what God wants to do with my life, or I don't need the faith and strength to start my own business today, to do all of it, to have everything working and running and taking care of my family today. No, I don't have to have that today. No, all I need is the faith and strength for one step. One. And then when you muster the energy and the fortitude and the determination to make that one step, celebrate. Celebrate that step because it's huge. Every step is going to add up and add up and add up. And eventually, it's amazing. That little step may look paper thin, but the more of those little steps that you take and you celebrate, and you fight for the next step and you celebrate, you fight for the next step and you celebrate, eventually they add up, and that will take you to the mountaintop. Be encouraged today. If all you can take today is one little tiny step, it's enough. It's enough for today, and it's enough to propel you into the next step tomorrow. So keep in mind, just one step. That's all I need today. Just one step. I hope you have a great day. See you guys later.